What up, my people? How's everybody doing tonight? Or this morning, I guess I should say. How's everybody doing tonight? What up, Cleo? How's everybody doing? DJ Charles, what's up? Oh, not much, dude. I'm at the Soaring Eagle Casino in Mount Pleasant right now. Figured I'd do a little blackjack on my birthday. I was up. I was actually gonna go live tonight, but a couple friends wanted me to go to the casino for my birthday, so I was like, well, all right. Hey, thank you. Beauty Johnson, South Carolina, what's happening? So how you guys liking my stuff? You guys like my videos? Y'all subscribe my YouTube? Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Allison Walbert. Appreciate you. Appreciate the birthday wishes, y'all. Thank you, David. Steven. Man, I was doing good, but they definitely, they started getting me. I was up like 300, right? So then I decided to try $25 hands like a dummy-o, and yeah, ever since then. Cool, I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys like my content, man. It seems to be doing all right, man. Facebook seems to be digging it, so that's what's up. I'm 34. Nice, dude. So what would yeah. Does that make you a Scorpio? Just curious. Gary Dupree, what is happening? Hey, those of you that I don't see a follower sign, get in there and follow my page, y'all. Soaring Eagle Casino in Mount Pleasant. Yes, and you guys, I have a lot more content that I haven't posted to Facebook yet. Appreciate that. You're welcome. I got a lot of cool stuff, man. A lot of cool stuff. I got content for days, to be honest, for you or for Facebook. Pretty much everything I've gotten or everything I've created is definitely on TikTok. My lives aren't on TikTok, but all my lives from TikTok are on YouTube. So check out my YouTube lives. You can tell which ones they are. They're usually well over an hour long. Yeah, okay. Yep. Ah, the Wendigo. Yeah, they're real. I'm gonna do a little more digging on the Mariana Trench. There's a lot to it. Hey, if you get a chance there, Beauty Johnson, check it out. Check out my YouTube page. I got a lot of awesome submarine stories that go back to like World War II. And these are all accounts written by and documented by renowned or at least credible admirals, and they're all in the logs. The number of submarines that have encountered sea creatures is insane. And I'm talking sea creatures from what look like the Loch Ness Monster to ancient dinosaurs, like they're like huge alligators. I don't know exactly what they're called, but it's like the one in Jurassic World that eats the shark. Yeah, they've encountered those. Sea serpents, all kinds of stuff. My YouTube page name is @NightGod333. Ozzy, either that or check my Facebook page, NightGod333, and click the watch video tab at the top of my page. So for those of you that don't know why my video is cut off, I get this all the time. All my comments are I'd say the majority of my comments on my reels are negative. Like hating, why don't you ever finish videos? Like, what are you doing? Are you a scammer? Are you a clickbaiter? Why would I ever do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just blows my mind that people think I would do, like, purposely cut off my video halfway. What people don't understand, y'all, is when I started creating, it was on TikTok. TikTok were 1 minute long videos. They started right out. They didn't have 30-second reel videos. Well, YouTube is doing the same, or Facebook is doing the same thing as Instagram Reels, and it's just because they're probably in the beta stage of Reels for Facebook, and they're only 30 seconds long right now. They'll go to a minute, but until then, I only get to put up 30 seconds of my videos. That's why they cut off. All my videos, I tell pretty much as I can in the story in 1 minute, and you know, obviously, I'm not going to go back and recreate all those videos for 30 seconds just because Facebook Reels. They're eventually going to go to a minute. I mean, that's inevitable. They're eventually going to go to a minute long videos. And when they do, I'll go back and I'll repost a lot of my Reels just because. So that's why my videos cut off, guys. Just so you know. So don't get upset with me. It's really not on purpose. People treat me like it's on purpose, man. You should see some of the comments people be hating, man. One dude was like, I'm gonna report you and mass report you if you don't start finishing your videos. I'm like, damn, bro, it's like that. Oh, no kidding. Interesting. Oh, you can't hardly hear me? Can you guys hear me better now? Sorry about that. Let me turn the volume up here. Let me get this mic. Is that better, guys? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? They found the stone from Arthur in the stone. Interesting. The sword in the stone, right? The sword in the stone. I might have had the mic covered up a little bit. That's crazy. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm definitely going to have to look into that. That's a really cool story. I love the movie. I mean, it's not that they're like trying to silence me or anything, but like, so what I've found, you guys, what I've found is I have found that when I present content that's super controversial, and it's not usually like, I'm not posting stuff like that's just like offensive to anybody, I don't think, you know, but when I find things like the secrets of the underground tunnels, in 2002, the Pentagon, using satellite ground penetrating radar via satellite, discovered a massive or I guess you'd say in mountain cavern in the Bucegi Mountains in Romania, right? They basically used their radar and they seen that it was a dome-shaped cavern, and it had perfectly cut 26-degree angle hallways leading up, except the hallways were unique. They would go like this, but then they would curve back, and they go straight back at a 26-degree angle, and it would lead into this big hall of records, right? And then they found that actually there was a much larger labyrinth of tunnels coming off of this said hall of records. For those of you that don't know, the Bucegi Mountains in Romania actually has a Egyptian Sphinx as well nearby. So it goes way back. It's as old as the Egyptian days, thousands of years. I think that, you know, not just a couple thousand years BC, these go back 10,000, maybe 20,000 years. But it was what they found in these tunnels, in this hall of record, that was so mind-blowing, right? So the US and the Romanian government, they both put a team together, and that was the agreement. When the US found it, I'm not sure if I don't think the Romanian government knew the extent of it, but I think they had an idea of what was going on in that mountain. They just hadn't broken into the caverns yet, because what they were so surprised about was that this cavern, or the entrance to this tunnel, was so well camoed in the side of the mountain. You could not see it with the naked eye. So instantly they knew they were dealing with an advanced civilization that created them, because it was literally camoed to perfection. The only reason they found it, again, was ground penetrating radar. A lot of people will say, or a lot of naysayers, if you will say, oh, well, dude, they didn't come up with ground penetrating radar until 2011. Wrong. The government doesn't let out certain technologies it has until sometimes years later. They, in fact, have been using ground penetrating radar since the 70s. They first discovered the underground network below the Giza pyramid in Egypt and the Sphinx in Egypt in the 70s, okay? And they've had an idea of what it is, and they've explored it. The one in the labyrinth, or the megaliths they found under the Egyptians, the Giza pyramid and the Egyptian Sphinx is huge. Okay, some people speculate that it goes up to a mile into the earth. Craziest part of all, the sand around the Giza pyramid and the Sphinx is not native to Egypt, meaning an ancient civilization buried it. They hauled the sand in from somewhere else and literally buried this like beautiful, underground, they basically city. It's just a massive city with megaliths they say are bigger than the Giza pyramid itself, right? It's literally a wonder. It could be a wonder of the world. But getting back to the Bucegi Mountains in Romania, when they went into these said tunnels in the Hall of Records, why they were so interested in it, first of all, is a couple months prior to that, in 2001, late 2001, early 2002, they actually found a similar tunnel or Hall of Records in Baghdad, Iraq, okay? Saddam Hussein was actually looking for it as well. He knew about it. So I'm not saying that's why we went to Iraq or anything like that, but it definitely may have had some sway, right? The lore was, when Saddam Hussein was looking for it, was that it could lead to a metropolis under the earth, right? So when they found it, they tried to enter it. They ran into a energy shield, okay? When they reached a certain point, it looked as if it was an open tunnel, but as they approached, something kicked in, they triggered something, and it turned into an energy shield, literally in front of the entrance. What they thought what was so crazy about it was, as that one activated, so did the one in Baghdad, Iraq. That one also activated. So the said energy shield was in the doorway, but it also entered into the Hall of Records. The Hall of Records was around 100 meters in width. It was 30 meters tall, but the force field was they said it was like right around 5 meters from the actual roof of the cavern. So it was like a Wakanda energy shield, or force field, if you will, defense shield. So basically, if the mountain collapsed, this energy shield would protect everything in it, right? So these people, so automatically they knew whoever created this in history was a super advanced civilization. We don't even have technology today, which is arguable because Tesla said he was onto something similar. So what did they do? The first people to try and go through the force field had heart attacks and dropped instantly, okay? It took them quite a while to figure it out, but on a weird tip, this was kind of crazy to me, when they finally deactivated the energy shield, it took a gentleman that was in tune with self that could meditate, right? And reach a higher vibration in his mind, a higher, almost like an astral travel, right? Once you reach this purity or this peace or vibration of heart, it instantly deactivated the energy shield, okay? So they figured that out. And once they deactivated it, what they found was absolutely amazing. So they enter this Hall of Records after they deactivate the said shields. And the first thing they notice is there's tables lining each wall. But the said tables, as they approached, the tabletops were 6 feet tall. Okay, the tabletops were 6 feet tall. So they figured whatever beings were sitting at the said tables were anywhere from 10 to 15 feet tall, maybe even taller, up to 20 feet tall. So they were giants, comparable to us, they were giants. Okay, so instantly they're the blood starts turning, they're getting excited. I mean, could you imagine it? 6 foot tall tabletops? Yeah, you're instantly gonna know. They're giants. So as they're walking and they're discovering everything in the said Hall of Records, right? They come upon a table that has a sort of mechanism on it. Said mechanism had a bunch of cables running to it, okay? And it was sitting on a table with a bunch of hieroglyphs carved into the top of it. But they were each in squares, right? So it took them a while to figure out what it was. But one of these gentlemen, he was a professor. He was allowed to join the discovery team because he had inside connections with the military, etc. He touches 2 of the squares. Well, one square looked like, say, a lion. The other square looked like an eagle. Well, he touches 2 of them, and all of a sudden, something activates. Something that's been lying dormant for thousands of years activates, turns on, right? And after it turns on, all of a sudden, a hologram projects from this said mechanism. And the hologram is life-size. What it is it's a table that when you picked 2 different species, it would crossbreed the DNA and show you the result of what you were creating. More or less like chimeras, okay? So you'd have this life-size hologram of 2 different crossbred species, and it would show you what it would create, all right? So instantly, of course, they're mind-blown. Holograms, we didn't have holograms at this time. So again, this civilization was super advanced. They continue. They find these tablets, right? These stone tablets with writing on them. Obviously, they couldn't read the writing. It was ancient cuneiform. So they're kind of just looking at them and going, not thinking much of it. Well, one of the researchers decides to more or less kind of brush his hand over the said tablets. As he does so, another hologram. It depicts in front of him, okay? And this time, it's something even more spectacular than the crossbred DNA. This time, it showed the start and the beginning of our universe. From the very beginning. They described it as as if somebody put a camera permanently in our universe or a satellite that recorded the entire thing from first person point of view. Okay? So they got to watch, and they said they watched for 2.5, 3 hours as our world, our universe, the planets were created. And they continued to watch, but after a while they got tired of it, they had to move on. Not tired of it, but they all could have watched it all day, but they said it would take thousands of hours to watch the number of tablets that they had found. And they eventually would. It basically tell the entire story of day one from our Earth. Sorry, y'all. People looking for me. I just wanted to go live real quick just to get alive, and I'm kind of hiding out because, dude, I'm tired of losing money. But so they got to see the beginning of our interview. They said, so the deal was that they would wait a year. They would go through all the tablets. They released the information to the public, right? Never happened. Romania wanted to. The U.S. government didn't, because they didn't want people to freak out, I guess, or something. And, you know, the information was very intricate. But, you know, the discovery would have changed mankind. You know, it would have showed us what the pinnacle of previous societies were here. But they decided to keep it under wraps. This story was really sensitive when I first started sharing it on TikTok. They kind of censored me, but as I've gone, it's been let out more and more. If you guys are interested in checking it out, the website is hiddenfromhumanity.com. Some of the stuff you'll read will absolutely blow your mind. Hiddenfromhumanity.com. Very, very cool account. Okay? Very, very cool. And there's more than just that. So, as they continued on, it went deeper and deeper, right? Well, they would eventually come to this machine. This machine was like Magneto's helmet. They couldn't believe it. But it was much larger than what could fit a human, our people. So they had to reduce it in size. The said machine, or the helmet, was sitting next to a beautiful, perfectly clear crystal, right? And it was kind of sitting on this mantle. And a general that the professor was working close with told the professor to sit down, give it a shot. Well, he sat down, he put the helmet on, and instantly he astral projected into his spirit body. And his body was sitting, and he was looking down at it. So basically what it was, you can reach that in meditation, but what this machine did was instantly astral project you into your soul, right? So, what up, girl? How bad did you do? Yeah? Worked?
Yeah.
Dude, they killed me, man. I'm so upset.
Are you?
But whatever.
Hey, are you live right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm live. I'm telling crazy stories. I don't have 20 bucks left. I'm out. I'm worked.
What?
Yeah, I'm out. I spent all that
everybody's
Chinese
out.
money, dude.
You what?
I spent all that money.
How much was
Yeah.
it?
I don't know. Dude, that's why I do this every time I come here. I leave with my tail between my legs. But that's all right. I'll make it up. Yeah, I'll make it up.
That's sleep money.
I'm waiting for that YouTube to pay. Yeah. I got 400 bucks sitting there, but yeah. So, I don't know. I'm supposed to get a code in the mail that I got to input into the system. I'm supposed to get a code in the mail that I got to input into YouTube. And once I do, I'll get my money. Yeah. So, all right. So they dude astral projected, right? Out of body. But it allowed him to travel in time travel. He was able to go to the past. Well, this gentleman, who was slightly religious, one of the first things he wanted to do was travel back and watch Jesus, right? So he astral travels back to one of Jesus's early first speeches. And this was crazy. He traveled back to watch Jesus give a speech. And as he arrived, hold on here. Okay. And screen record. So as he arrived, when he first showed up to watch Jesus in astral form, Jesus made eye contact with him. He knew he was there. So Jesus, vibing at a higher frequency, vibing at a higher soul level, could see his soul watching him. Like made eye contact with him. He said it blew his mind. He couldn't believe it. But he said he was vibrant, very well spoken, very enthusiastic, and he could grab the crowd like nothing you would ever see. He could grab the audience and he held them, every word. So there's a lot more to that story with the Jesus stuff. He did end up watching the entirety of it, Pontius Pilate, the persecution, the crucifixion. He watched it all. I would like you guys to go read that for yourself. I don't want to touch on that and get into the grimy, gritty details because it's controversial and I don't want to offend anybody, okay? But I'll just let you know, it's a gnarly story. It's amazing, okay? It's mind-blowing. But they continued to investigate these Hall of Records, and they found 3 doors there, okay? Massive doors. One in the middle, one on the right, one on the left. The one on the right said, to the Egyptian Sphinx, or to the Egyptian Hall of Records under the Giza Pyramid. The one on the left said, to Tibet, Mount Kailash in China. The one in the middle said, to inner earth. To inner earth. They traveled all 3. They hired military personnel to travel all 3. And they made it to every destination. The ones in Egypt also had 3 doors going back to where they were supposed to go. You know, Bucegi Mountains in Romania, Middle Earth. But the one in Egypt stated a location in Antarctica. Underground tunnels, bro, that actually went all the way to Antarctica. And then I want to say they're hiding another location in, maybe it's the Grand Canyon ones, maybe it's the Grand Canyon Egyptian temple, right? So I think that one's kind of being kept under wraps. But yeah, they had a place so basically these ancient civilizations, which were probably Atlanteans and Lemurians, built these areas, and they did it for future civilizations. And it was due to, they knew the flood was coming. Okay, what happened was, like I talked in my other live, they had this great war on Earth, all right? And this said war actually ravaged the Earth so bad that it angered Mother Earth so much, she caused constant cataclysms for thousands of years. All right. Well, so basically the civilizations that lived at this time were ravaged with nuclear war over what they should do with humans, right? The Atlanteans thought that lesser civilizations should be enslaved, while the Lemurians thought they should be free. So they fought in this great war. I was reading a new account earlier that I found, this awesome source, right? That gave intimate detail, and I'm going to do a couple videos of it, but gave intimate detail of what the underground tunnels and the layers of them, because there's tiers, right? What they consisted of. The detail was so amazing. I'm not saying I don't know. It's like, how do you make it up, right? They were talking about how the ancient civilizations after this nuclear war were ravaged with disease. They were ravaged with hunger because the fallout from the nuclear war actually blotted out the sun. So they never had, it wasn't always pitch black, but it was dark enough to where the sun didn't get through. So a lot of the plant life died. A lot of the people died from starvation, and they died from hunger and disease. A very select few actually made it through this time. And the majority of them went into the subterranean pockets. That's when they had to reestablish their said civilizations. Mount Telos, or Mount Shasta, the city of Telos, for example, is one of them. They had each section of these subterranean pockets set up, like one set of it was hydroponics. The third level, they said, was all hydroponics. That's how they grow all their crops in this ancient civilization. Hydroponics. Because they can harvest perpetual crops. And they said that they can still keep a good enough variety of food to keep people interested and not to get monotonous in what they're eating. They took certain animals down there. It said they have a saber-toothed tiger down there. Saber-toothed tigers. They didn't bring dinosaurs, they said, because they were too big. But mastodons and other ancient critters from thousands of years ago lived there, right? Now this is where it gets wild. It's said that they taught, even though on the surface world, these animals like saber-toothed tigers, big cats, were hostile towards them, when they had gotten into the subterranean pockets, it said that the creatures had to learn to coexist with humans. So they began slowly integrating them into human society, meaning they tamed them. It is said that if you go into the subterranean pockets where these civilizations still exist, you can literally pet and play with lions, tigers, bears, saber-tooths. How they did this, obviously they instilled them in society, but one of the main things they did was they stopped letting them eat meat. They stopped letting them, and I trust me, I'm no vegan. I love my freaking steak. But they said that actually they started, because they didn't have any source of food like that. They don't raise livestock. They don't create, big old farms full of pigs that they slaughter. They don't, because they respect every one of God's children, or every one of God's creations. So they started feeding these creatures plants to survive, proteins, nut-based proteins like nuts and berries, all that stuff. They got all their nutrition from plants as well. It took their aggression away. The animals that were once aggressive and meat eaters were no longer aggressive after they stopped eating meat. I thought that was a very intriguing point. I'm not saying it's for a 100% fact, but I am saying that very interesting to say the least. So all the animals and plants, or all the animals and species down there live in harmony. They're love and light. They don't consume each other. They don't kill each other. They're not at odds. They don't fight. They don't hunt each other. Everybody down there lives in peace and harmony. And every animal down there is more or less tame and acts as if they're a pet. Pretty crazy stuff there for sure. That really intrigued me. So I guess, I don't know, maybe the vegans aren't too far off, right? And trust me though, like I said, I love my bacon, I love my meat, but there's something to be said about it. It was very interesting, to say the least. But that's a little taste of what's going on down there, just so you guys get a little bit of info about it. This is Middle Earth, this is Inner Earth, right? Shambhala the Lesser, you know, Mount Shasta City, Telos. They have gotten to the point where they've gotten their super advanced tech back, but they still aren't where they were before the Great Third Earth War, and the cataclysms, the Great Flood, the volcanoes, the earthquakes. So they say that the reason, you know, people's biggest argument, right? Well, where's all the relics? Where's all the archaeology? Where's all the discoveries of these past super advanced civilizations? Where'd they go? Well, the cataclysms were so great at this time, the majority of structures they had built literally shook to rubble. And if they didn't get shook to rubble, they got flooded out. So the seawater and the ocean water, the salt ate it over time, okay? Like I say, you're talking, when this happened, when Lemuria actually sank, and Atlantis also sank, they knew it too after they'd realized the futility of their war afterwards. And in order to get into Inner Earth, they had to plead with Inner Earth's leader at the time to allow them in, but they had to prove that they had learned from the futility of war. A lot of them did, some of them didn't, but the majority of them did, and they were allowed in to live in Shambhala Lesser. Or they call it the Agartha Network. The Agartha Network. They had to coexist. Some, I believe, are still a little bit at odds. I think the divide down there again is possibly getting steep, more intense, you know. Yeah, so it's hard to say. We'll see what happens. I think this has a lot to do with all these giants waking up, and there's a lot going on down there. So, but that's just a little, like I said, this is a little taste. I got a lot more where that comes from. I'm just gonna brush up on it a little more. I found, like I said, I found a new PDF, I found a new document that goes into much deeper detail with everything down there, what happened on Earth, how Lemuria sank. If you guys go back to my YouTube and you watch some videos, or my TikTok, check out my TikTok as well. I have it pinned at the very top of my page, right? I have it pinned. I did a video on the pyramids underwater. If you look, there's pyramids all over under the ocean. Look just off the coast of China, and that's really the concentration of them. That's supposedly where Lemuria once stood. Hawaii, around that area. Down by Easter Island, you can see where there was once a trail, a trade route, and you can see the beaten path coming right from Paracas, Peru. If you guys don't know, Paracas, Peru is where they found a bunch of skeletons of elongated skull people who were on average 7 to 10 feet tall. They had elongated skulls, and they figured that they were a super advanced civilization on Earth at one time. They vibed at a higher frequency, they vibed at a higher dimension, right, if you will. So, what up, guys? All right. Were you guys looking for me? Oh. Well, hey, guys, that was a taste. I'm going to hop off here, and love y'all. Stay light. Peace out.